everyone, and welcome back to Love Unfiltered. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're addressing a deeply important subject: how to support a partner who is facing depression. Relationships are a team effort, and when mental health challenges arise, love and empathy can make all the difference. This topic matters because depression affects millions of people worldwide, and chances are you or someone you love has felt its impact. It can be overwhelming, not just for the person struggling, but also for their partner. How do you show up for them without losing yourself? How do you offer support without overstepping? These are tough but necessary questions, and today we're going to navigate them together. Whether you're currently in this situation, have been through it before, or just want to be prepared, this conversation is for you. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Now, I have invited students from diverse backgrounds to share their unique perspectives on love, relationships, and everything in between. I have Nyla, who is a sophomore and exercise science major. And I have the one, the only Byron Day, senior and mathematics major.
Say his name and he appears, ladies and gentlemen. Byron Day is here.
Byron Day is here. All right, thank you guys for taking the time to be with me today.
It's a true honor, man. It's a true honor, for real.
Yes. All right, let's get started. Let's start by defining depression. It's not just feeling sad. It's a medical condition that affects your mood, energy, appetite, and more. Symptoms include persistent sadness, lack of interest in things, trouble concentrating, and changes in sleep or appetite. Depression is not a weakness or something someone can simply snap out of. It can be triggered by genetics, life experiences, or brain chemistry. Understanding this is key, and it's not about getting over it quickly, but about offering real support and care. Now, you two, can you share a time when you supported a partner going through depression? What was the most challenging part of that experience?
Oh, okay, I'll go first. For me, the most challenging part about like dealing with, or like not dealing, but like helping your partner get through like their depression, I think is when the times get really, really bad, where it's like you're watching them like actively like fade away.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be days where it's like they're feeling like depression isn't as bad and they're feeling like kind of like themselves. And then there's days where it's like you're watching them like over time kind of just like slip away. And like even though you're there like helping them, like giving them like reminders and stuff like that, it still like happens. So I think that's like the most challenging part, is like even though you're helping them, it's like it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the most challenging part is just seeing a person go through that, because it doesn't matter like how long y'all known each other. Like, if the person like their character, if you know how they are, and then you see it changed all because they're going through depression, it's hard to watch, Like, if anything, you would always want to try to support a person that's going through depression, but like just seeing a person go through depression makes it a little, I'm trying to think of a word to put it, like hard to watch. Basically, like it makes it a little difficult to think of that person as in a depression state rather than as they are as a person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are some common misconceptions you think people have about supporting someone with depression, and how can we address them?
Some common misconceptions I think people had. I think one of the things is that people do think that just because another person has depression, it may come back to them too. You know what I'm saying? That's not always the case, Like, just because a person has depression, they may be going through something that you've never been through, Doesn't mean it's going to just come back to you. It's going to just carry on to you. Like, depression is not like a bug that can just go from one person to another.
Yeah, it's not contagious.
Right, it's not contagious, Like, and I think some people, that's why people are so hard on other people and not gonna say scared, but they are just cautious of trying to help another person with depression because they fear it's gonna come back to them. Like, it's gonna be contagious, as you said, and it's just like people just think that, and it's just
Are not willing to help.
yeah, aren't willing to help. Basically, it's just like, why do you think that it's gonna happen to you just because it's happened to another person? Like, we're not all the same. Like, it's not all gonna happen to every one of us. Now, depression can happen to all of us, but it's not just gonna happen like at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It varies, to be honest with you. Like, all of us are different. We go through our own stuff. Like, some of the stuff I go through, not a lot of people on campus go through, and vice versa. So just because the person goes through that does not mean it's going to come on to you, basically.
I think a big misconception is that helping your partner with depression is like a 1-day process. Where it's like, oh, you'll talk to them, you'll comfort them, and then the next day they're fine, and that's all it is. No, it is a long process. Every day is not the same day. Like I've said before, some days are better, some days are worse, and then some days are just like downright terrible. And I think that people feel as if like depression is something that can just go away, like in like a week or so, when like it takes a lot more time than that. And then especially with your like helping another person, it might feel like it's for like forever, like you're like constantly saying the same things and like doing the same things and stuff like that. But that's like really the important part, is like the repetitiveness of it, because like when you're like depressed, you're having the same thoughts over and over again, and they're just like steadily getting worse. So I feel like a big misconception is definitely the time length like of it, because it's definitely not like a walk in the park. Like it's a lot more complex, and it's a lot more, basically, I guess, not time consuming, but it just takes a long time. Even if you have the right help, like you're on medicine, you do therapy, stuff like that, it still takes time, even with those added like help.
I agree with both of you. I think a common misconception would be that people think that they won't be able to love or support someone who is depressed. That they believe that it's going to be a very difficult relationship. It's not going to be normal. It's going to be difficult. And so those people tend to give up and leave because they don't want to deal with it. And I think that those are one of the many misconceptions. Depression, when your partner is depressed, is not going to, I don't think you should think of it as it's going to negatively take over your relationship or impact both of you. There is a way to help your partner who is depressed and be there for them, be their support system. Make sure that they know that you love them, you care about them, and that you're there for them when they need to talk at all, or if they just need someone to listen. I think those are the misconceptions that I believe that people should, be more aware of. Now, how did you balance offering emotional support while also taking care of your own mental health during that time?
Basically, like, balancing, like you said, that everyone, like you said, everyone goes at the beat of their own drum. Basically, when it comes to depression, like offering emotional support and also balancing your life, it is difficult. But like, if you have like that good praying mind, like you pray for that person and also pray for yourself about going through it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it can be a challenge offering a person help with depression, because you never know how they felt, how they're feeling, or how they felt in the past about a certain situation or anything like that. So like, praying for that person always helps. It also pray for yourself, because you want to show that you have the strength. You want to show your friend, your partner, that you have the strength, so they can at least see it through you, so they can get over it themselves. Like always saying, like, if it's a partner, that's you and your partner that's going through it. It was always saying, like, a couple that prays together stays together. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just not a lot of people are religious for real, but if you still pray over that person no matter what, then hopefully they can at least get through it. I'm not going to say quicker, but they can get through it a little more smoothly, because like I said, it's not going to take a 1-day trip or walk in the park to get through depression or anything like that. It's going to take a lot of bumps and hurdles in the road, but still, as long as you're still driving the car, that's all that matters.
Balancing your own mental health and like helping your partner through their mental health is definitely it's a struggle. It's a huge struggle because you're gonna end up putting like their needs over your own simply because like what they're going through could be a lot more than what you're going through. I can definitely say from personal experience though, when you're also depressed and you're also dealing with your partner that's depressed, that's when things get like difficult 1,000 times more
Mm.
because it's kind of just like you're seeing them and like you're relating to them, but it feels like you can't help them because it's like if you're able to help them, you should be able to help yourself, you
Mm.
know, in a way. And I feel like it's the guilt that I feel like for me personally, I feel like I experienced the guilt of like I'm helping like my partner, you know, with their mental health, but then it's like I'm not applying the same things to me. But I also feel like it makes a little bit more understanding when like you give them advice and they're not like taking it because it's like you're not taking it either. Like you understand a little bit more where they're coming from. So I feel like like balancing it's definitely a lot more difficult and it might not even be a balance. I know there's definitely going to be days where it's like you are going to focus on yourself and you might not like focus as much on your partner or your friend that you usually do. And I feel like as long as you like check in on them, make sure they're like good enough, I feel like it's okay to take a step back and then really like take that time, take a day to yourself to make sure you get yourself straight. Because, or even if you like you don't have depression or anything like that, and your partner does, that can also start to affect you as well.
Mhm.
Because you start just feeling kind of like upset. You know, like am I not helping enough? Like stuff like that.
Right.
So definitely balancing is definitely not really like a balance and more of just like I don't know, one day you're at the top of the stairs, the next day you're at the middle, and then somehow you're back down at ground zero.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly. No, it's like a cycle, but you have to learn how to kind of get through that cycle. It's gonna take a. It's gonna. Is everybody's process is different. Some people get through it quicker than others. Some people take years to get through it. Um. So that's one thing I can say about that. Though I want to bounce back or combine question 2 and 3. Two was about common misconceptions. I forgot one misconception is that people tell you it's all in your head and that you're just feeling feelings. It's not real. You're overthinking. It's just all in your imagination. I've been told that many times by a previous partner of mine, and I was depressed for a long time because I was in an abusive, toxic relationship, and I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel like I had an identity anymore. I couldn't be out. I couldn't socialize with people. Not a lot of people really knew about me as much past being the president of the skateboarding club, or the vice president at the time. I was vice president of the skateboarding club, and it was very difficult. And having that partner there constantly telling me that it's all in my head and that's stupid that I'm feeling that way, and to not feel that way because I sound crazy, you know? Those types of things those are the type of misconceptions that people need to be more aware of, because I hear that a lot, especially from people who don't believe in depression, don't believe in mental health in general. They all think that it's like in your head and stuff. And I didn't have the emotional support. So that goes back to the question 3. I didn't have that emotional support. And that person was going through their own things. So the relationship was just really unbalanced. Like we were both going through our own stuff, but they were not being supportive, and it just fell apart. So I would definitely encourage people to really do better at supporting your partner when they're going through tough times, whether it's due to because of depression or it's because of something else. Just be more supportive.
And I think that goes to like you said, like you gotta watch who you go with, like in a relationship with, because if a person may seem like they're all peaches and cream on one side, but then when you actually get to know them, like you actually get deeper into them, and then they do things like not support you when you go through depression like that, then it's like, dang, what the heck, what the heck did I get myself into?
Mm-hmm.
Like speaking from experience myself, like my sophomore year, I was in a toxic relationship myself. I'm sorry, you know, like, and I always try to make excuses after excuses for that spouse. You know, I feel like I didn't have an identity either. I feel like I didn't know who I was because like I just felt like in my head every time I did something wrong or every time I did something, it was always wrong to that spouse. You know what I'm saying? It felt like, dang, like what can I do to actually, get it right? And it wasn't until like the breaking up between me and that spouse I had, where I actually found myself and found who I wanted to be, and I found who I was. Like, and I had such an emotional support group after the breakup.
Friends,
right?
family.
Friends, family, right? Like that was there to help me, to be honest with you, because they said like I don't deserve to be treated like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't deserve to be treated like that. I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of. Like at the end of the day, I'm not going to get mad over spilled milk or anything like that. I'm just going to keep rolling with the punches. I know life is going to give me some problems sometimes, and trust me, there's been a lot of problems in life. But at the end of the day, as long as you have that support group and like get away from those people that don't want to support you, whether you're mentally not there, you're physically not there, or you're emotionally not there, if you want to distance yourself from those people, then I think that's where the depression that you're having, it gets better, because I feel like sometimes the depression you have is caused by some people that are in your life that are trying to get in your head.
And they're draining your energy.
Basically.
And they're not allowing you to be your full self, to
Basically.
express yourself. And when you are forced to be someone you're not, or not express yourself fully, you become a shell of yourself. You become a shell of the person you're supposed to be. And that's what's draining. That's what causes depression in situations like that. And it's not until you leave that relationship, where you escape that relationship, whether they break up with you or you break up with them, or it's mutual, that's when you realize that that relationship was not helping, and you will start to find your identity again. You will find your sense of self. You will be able to express yourself again. And that depression will start to alleviate over time. You will start to heal. And that's what I want a lot of people and the listeners and you guys to understand, is that you will heal. It's just going to take time.
Like I said, everybody marches at the beat of their own drum, for real.
Mm.
Like, for real, depression, like you said, it's caused by emotional, maybe even physical or mental problems, that not a lot of people have, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people have it, a lot of people don't. And for the people who do have it, myself included, like there are times where we need to take time for ourselves, just get away from everything and everyone. But like I said, if you're that person that's going through depression and stuff like that, one thing is not good is to keep it to yourself. Like, it's always good to talk to at least someone. Even if you don't trust, like, people, like, say you're friends with some sort of information like that, talk to your parents, talk to your mom, your dad, because they've been there. They've done some of the stuff you did at a young age, you know what I'm saying? They always use the saying, been there, done that, like, it's always good to talk to your mom, your dad, and even if you don't want to talk to your mom and dad, talk to your grandparents, talk to your aunts, your uncles, maybe even your cousins, your brother, your sister, someone that can actually, like, be there for you, someone that you have so much trust in that you know that if you tell them something, they're not going to not only tell your business, but they're also going to help you get through it, for real. Like, you want to have that somebody in your corner rather than just take on the battle by yourself.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Your family is also a great resource for a support system. I do agree. Now, depression impacts both the person experiencing it and the relationship. For the one struggling, it can lead to isolation and hopelessness, while the partner may feel emotionally distant or helpless. Communication often becomes a challenge, as one person may withdraw and the other might not know how to help. It can be overwhelming, but it's important to remember you're not alone in this. Many couples go through this, and with patience and understanding, you can find ways to navigate it together. Recognizing that depression is a medical condition and not a reflection of your relationship can help you stay connected and supportive. Now, how did depression affect the dynamic of your relationship? Were there moments when you felt emotionally distant from your partner?
I can go first for this one. I definitely, when I was like in a relationship and I was dealing with my depression, I definitely was a little bit more distant. Um, Definitely, like, even though I was there physically with them, I definitely was not there like in any other way. My communication on my part was definitely lacking, because it's like I didn't really have anything that I really wanted to say. Like, I just wanted to pretty much just be like just left alone, like not left alone, but like left in my thoughts. Because like for me, I'm really big on like physical and like contact and stuff like that. But like even though I was there with them, it's like I didn't really want to be like touched by them in any way. Like, I just really just want to just sit and just be kind of like with my thoughts. And I feel like that definitely like can impact the relationship a lot, especially when it's like, because it's like you are there but then like you're not there. So it's just one of those things where like it's pretty difficult, like especially like on your part when you know you're the person that's depressed, because like it's like you know that you need to like communicate, you know that you need to reach out, but like it's like you like can't. It's
You don't know
almost like
how to.
you don't know how to. And it's like time for me. Times it's like I physically like can't. Like the words are there, but I can't say them.
Right, and I agree with that. Like, you took all the words I was about to say. You know, like, there were times when I was in depression, it felt like, whether it was the one I was in a toxic relationship one or the one after that one, like, it felt like every time I was in depression, I just wanted to be left alone. Like, yeah, I was there with them, like, made sure, like, everything was all peaches and cream and everything was good. But it was like I was in fear that if I put this weight on them, then it's going to affect them too. And I didn't want it to affect them, you know. And at the time, I didn't think that, what's the name? I didn't think if I literally talked to somebody, then it would help me. If anything, I just wanted to fight the battle myself and see if I would win. But it was like the battle had took so much toll on me, you know, like it just, I was, like you said, I was a shell of who I was. It didn't, what's the name? It didn't make me a better person that I was at that time, you know. And it was until maybe I talked to, like I said, family. I talked to my parents, my folks, and they gave me some of the best ideas, the best advice in my life that I got through so many times. Like, there are times where I still feel depression, but that I wouldn't even be here. What's the name? I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for my family literally telling me all the advice they can give me, you know. Like, you see me as on the campus, like saying all this catchphrase and stuff like that, and being just out there, and then I still go through my battles on my own too. You know, like at the end of the day, it's just that I have this support group, this emotional support group that always helps me. And then when I had my what's the name? When I had my ex-girlfriend that was in a toxic relationship, when we had broke up, it felt like I was just a new person. And then when I got into that new relationship and I told her about my depression and stuff like that, and she wanted to help me, it was like, wow, I can actually start trusting again and again, you know? Like, once you have those people that you know you can trust, then it opens your horizon of starting to trust people more and more.
Now, what were some of the biggest communication struggles you faced while supporting a partner with depression?
Man, like, to be honest, like, sometimes one of the biggest struggles I had was what's the name, the emotional communication, you know? Like, trying to see, like, hey, if everything okay, because you see, like, at least with one of my partners, I saw her, like, she wasn't herself. She wasn't, what's the name? Like, just one day after she was just happy, go lucky, and smiling, next day she's all angry easily. She's depressed. She's like, and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? And it was like, she always used the same words, like, I'm fine, and stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, you say it, but do you actually mean it, you know?
Right, so she wasn't like very like too open with you
Basically,
with
like,
how she was feeling.
like, not even just not open. It was just like she was just so condemned at the time, you know, like, just so locked down, like, you couldn't even get inside the gate. You couldn't even like open the door because it had so much locks on it, you know, like, to get into her mind, you know. And it wasn't until maybe like she had took a therapy class where she just finally opened up to me. She was like, I had a flashback. I had a dream. She had a dream. I'm sorry. She had a dream about something that happened in her past that she didn't want to happen again. And that's what took her to a downward spiral and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I understand that. Like, long as you have that person that you could talk to, so you can start opening up to more people, then I understand that, you know. Like, it can, like I said, going to therapy also helps, you know, because at the end of the day, a lot of people do therapy and it helps them get better. So I say like the emotional communication at the time wasn't there.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like another part of like communication, just like in general, but like pertaining to this topic, is understanding. If like your partner is not like they're listening to what you're. Another part I feel like is like understanding, especially when it comes to communication. If your partner is not understanding what you're saying, but they're listening to you, then I feel like that also can affect, because when you're trying to like help someone else, um, like the way you're coming off might not be like receptive like clearly, and like you can like give advice like for them, and if they're not understanding, then like advice kind of goes nowhere. Where I've had like times in the past where it's like I've been like explaining and like giving advice, trying to like help them, and it's like everything that they would say back to me was kind of like countering that.
Mhm.
And I feel like for me it was kind of hard to like, it was definitely, that was a hard part, because it's like I'm explaining it to you, but then you just like not going against it per se, but you're just like countering everything that I'm saying.
Right.
So I think it's definitely one of those things where patience comes into it, where you really have to like break it down and kind of explain like why. Because sometimes it is just that where it's like people that are depressed, they just genuinely like don't understand the help that you're trying to give, the advice that you're trying to give to them. So really like going back and just like breaking it down slowly, and like and feeding that into them, and then making sure that they understand. Like I feel like that like helps.
Okay. Okay. Um, what strategies helped you maintain connection with your partner during challenging times? And how did you navigate emotional distance?
Like for me, this I had one strategy, and like you already specified, was patience. I had to wait, and what I'm saying, always give them kindly motivations. Like if you do have patience with that person, then I think it will help them like get through it by talking. If it's not to you, then it's to someone else. What I'm saying? Like I know I keep going back to saying going to support groups and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, support groups really do help. Like if you have that patience with somebody, then it helps them open up to you a little more.
Mhm.
I think spending time with them, whether it's like you guys are just like in the same space together, but you're not saying anything, I feel like that definitely helps. And then even on like those better days where it's like you guys are able to do stuff together, um, I feel like doing like certain activities where it's like, oh, maybe you guys like, I don't know, do like a painting activity together, or like you guys are just sitting there and then y'all end up yapping, or like just like talking. I feel like that is when like the emotions kind of like start coming out, because then it's like they're feeling like comfortable enough where it's just like you really do want to come out and like say how you feel. So I think spending time, or even if it's just like y'all not really saying anything, y'all just sitting there, it might like feel awkward, but I feel like eventually as time goes on, like the air will start to shift, and then that's when like the emotions come out. So definitely, like, you don't always have to be doing something. You don't always have to be like leave your room doing something that requires a lot of energy, but doing like small things, like even just like eating together. I feel like that creates like enough space where the other person can feel comfortable enough to like speak, and then create that communication that can then like further like the progress that you guys are making.
Mhm.
Also, like words of affirmations to your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's a male or female, like no matter what they go through, you always want to give them like saying like kind words, like good morning text, good night text, maybe a hey how are you doing text.
Checking
Just
in.
you basically checking in on them, so they know that you're still there for them no matter what. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely like very much agree with that, because I know me in previous relationships, like I've like sent like, oh, I'm so proud of you, like I see the progress you're making, you're doing great, those kind of texts, and I
Mhm.
feel like they like work in the long run,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think they make like both partners feel kind of good too, because
Definitely.
like for me, like when you're the partner saying it, it's like you're letting them know how you feel, and I know like if I was to receive something like that would make me feel like wow, like I'm really like doing something, like
Mhm.
people are seeing that, that type of stuff.
It
Yeah.
gives you a little boost of confidence.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good about yourself. It's like, okay, it's like a reminder that you are doing good.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you might feel like you're not when you are, and you just need that one or two people to like just remind you you are. And you're like, okay, I am. Mm-hmm. Now, here are some practical tips for supporting a partner with depression. Firstly, encourage open, judgment free communication to create a safe space for them. Learn about depression to better understand what they're going through. Offer emotional support without trying to fix things. And be patient with their healing process. It can take time. It's also important to prioritize self care to avoid burnout. Set boundaries to maintain balance in the relationship while still being there for your partner. Remember, taking care of yourself allows you to show up more fully for them. Now, what are some ways you found effective in creating a judgment free space for your partner to open up about their depression?
What ways did I feel were like effective?
Mm-hmm.
I think doing something that they enjoy opens up like space for communication, because then it's like they're already like feeling good because they're doing something that they like, and like of course, like I said before, once you like start feeling good, then you want to start like talking and open up how you feel.
Right.
So I think definitely dedicating time to really do something that they like. Even like they don't necessarily have to talk about like what's going on in that moment, but I think even after that moment's over, I think then that's when things start like to flow out, because like I said before, you get more comfortable, you feel like you're able to talk to like your partner, and things just like spill out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest with you. Like, doing something like your spouse know that they will love, like, it could be something as small as, like I said, a text, or something big as, like, giving them flowers or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So they know, like, you are on their side, that you're still with them, that you actually still care no matter what. And like you said, it's everyone goes at the beat of their own drum. Like, their healing process are different than others, you know? So if you do something as small as, like, sending them a card, or like as big as, say, giving them like a fancy, no, I'm not saying fancy dinner, don't go fancy with it, you know what I'm saying, but like surprising them with a dinner, like cooking for them or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you would do something nice for them, then they'll show you like, wow, like, okay, just even though I'm going through this, he or she is still trying to try, no matter what you're going through.
I would say try the most simplest thing, and that is just to ask, how are you doing today? Literally just asking an open question. It's not a yes or no. They have to actually explain to you how they're doing that day. That opens up the room to them and gives them the opportunity to explain to you how they're feeling, whether that's they're happy, they're sad, they're stressed out, or they're angry about something. You're telling them, I'm here if you need to tell me something. So I'm all ears, you know? So I think the simplest thing can work as well. Now, how did learning about depression help you support your partner better? Were there any specific resources or insights that made a difference?
Definitely online research. I will search up like, how do I help my partner that's dealing with depression, and like the results that I would get back definitely like helped me, because it's like, it's one thing when you're dealing with depression like by yourself, but it's definitely another when you're helping another person go through it. So definitely, and then one of the things that I already knew was definitely encouraging them to go to see like a therapist, or like stuff like that. Especially because like on campus we do have like therapists on campus, so definitely encouraging them to do that like help. So definitely online research is, I think, your biggest like help, because that's like your online gives you like literally every single piece of information that you could ever like really need. So definitely reaching out to going online. And then I think if you know someone that has dealt with has going through the same like issue, or like they're helping their partner out with depression, or they've had like experiences in the past, I definitely would ask. But definitely look, when you're like doing your research, just look for things more like general tips, because again, every person is different, so what might work for one person might not work for the other, so you don't want to like look deep in for like specifics, but just like general tips can help.
Also, and this may be like how it is nowadays, basically like looking at videos, you know what I'm saying, or listening to podcasts, for like listening to people, like, because some of the people you may not even know, and they may not even know you, but they probably went through the same thing, the situation you're going through, and the tips that they had may help you out too with your spouse, You know what I'm saying? So like that's what like podcasts, YouTube videos, TV shows, that's what they're all there for sometimes. Like people may think it's a joke and stuff like that, but sometimes it actually can help a person with their relationship and with depression.
In other words, the internet is your friend. hmm Now, when supporting a partner with depression, it's important to avoid some common mistakes. First, don't minimize their feelings with comments like, just think positive. This can make them feel invalidated. Also, try not to take their symptoms personally. If they're distant or irritable, it's the depression, not you. And lastly, avoid forcing solutions or expecting quick improvement. Depression is a long term challenge that requires patience, not instant fixes. Now, have you guys ever unintentionally minimized your partner's feelings or tried to offer quick fixes? How did you learn to approach things differently the next time?
Oh boy, like I had learned this in like credit to my mother, love to her. Like she had basically taught me a lesson. Basically, when I was trying to, this was like when I first got into a relationship, maybe in middle school. I tried when my partner was going through a depression. Now, me and myself, I didn't know what depression was. Like when she was going through a depression, I tried to give her some advice, like on how to fix it. Basically, telling her what to do to fix it, like it would happen in one day, and then she's all better. But then it went through times where she just had stopped talking to me maybe for like a week or two. And I told my mom about the situation. She was like, if a person wanted you to actually, what's the name, they'd ask you for like maybe a solution or something like that. Like sometimes a person just wants you to be there and wants you to listen to them instead of just talking to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to say you understand about what they're going through and stuff like that, but trying to offer, say, like some solution or anything like that is not going to help it just like in 1 second. Like depression ain't no like easy puzzle you can just put one piece of and then the puzzle's done. No, you got to get all the pieces together and then actually try to make the puzzle work, if that makes sense. So if anything, do not try to offer a solution if they don't want it.
For me, I think my experience is a little bit different. Um, for me, in terms of, I think I don't know if people can relate to this. For me, in terms about like unintentionally invalidating somebody else's experience. So for me, I know someone that like like deals with like struggles and depression and mental health, but they're kind of like I don't like that person. Like I have a grudge against them, which is like validly so. And so for me, it's definitely hard to like take not like obviously you take them seriously, but it's really hard to want to like help that person when you like hate that person basically.
hmm
Um, so I think if you're ever in a situation like that where it's like you're like the person that you just absolutely despise is going through something strong, it takes a lot of strength honestly to set aside that personal differences and like recognize that this person needs help and not like, oh, this is your karma, if that makes sense. So I feel like for that situation, this is where being mindful comes into it, and honestly setting your personal bias aside to really like try and help. And yeah.
Okay. I agree with both of you. Yeah. Um, there have been times where I've unintentionally minimized my partner's feelings. It wasn't connected to depression per se, but just like their feelings in general. And um, and then when like later I found out that I minimized their feelings. Honestly, no. Like nowadays, they'll tell me like right away if I've like minimized their feelings, and I'll be like, and I'll tell them, oh, I didn't mean to minimize your feelings like that, and then I would apologize for it because it was unintentional, right? So I would apologize and I would let them know I that was unintentional. I didn't mean it like that. Um, what challenges did you face when trying not to take your partner's symptoms personally, and how did you handle those feelings?
Um, I feel like you just have to. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you just have to remind yourself of what the other person is going through.
Hmm.
And it's pretty much just like kind of just constantly just being mindful, constantly like telling yourself like that's not what they mean. You know, they're just going through like a tough time. So I definitely think reminders are like for me it helped me in the biggest way. I also think just honestly just asking them like, do you know that what you just said came off like this? Like, are you aware that this is how you're coming off? Is this your intention of coming off that way? Because sometimes it's like, no, it's not their intention, and then sometimes it is their intention.
Hmm.
And sometimes when you're dealing with a partner that's like constantly depressed or their mood is changing, it's kind of hard to tell like what is like their depression and then what is like actually them, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
For real, like it's like you said, basically trying to remind yourself that what they're saying is because of what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people will say something they don't mean just for you to at least feel what they're going through. You know,
Right.
it's like kind of like reverse psychology. That makes sense. You know, like trying to basically build you down so you know what they're going through, like down to what their level is on, basically, you know. So like a self reminder, a self motivation, like, you know what, all right, they're going through this, they didn't mean it, so let's not try to do anything. Because if you act and you get angry or something like that, then it makes the situation way more worse, and then y'all both say stuff y'all don't mean, and then next thing you know, the relationship's in a spiral, you know.
Hmm.
So I say, like you said, always self remind yourself that no matter what they're going through, they didn't mean what they're saying, and just gotta let them go at their own pace.
I also feel like I should add that like even though like your partner is depressed and stuff like that, even though they're going through their own struggles, that does not mean that they have a right to like treat you any kind of way.
That
like,
part.
like definitely
Oh
don't
my
like don't like
God.
when you listen to this, don't like think like, oh, just like let them like do that. No,
Like,
still
yeah.
stand still stand up for yourself.
Exactly.
But just
Right.
do keep in the back of your mind like for example, for me, depression makes me easily irritable. Just know that that could be a case for them too, where just like any little thing just gets on their nerves and just makes them want to lash out.
And they might say something that's really hurtful, and you should let them know, like, okay, that was not cool. You know, you need to like put your foot down sometimes, you know, if they're like mistreating you because of how they're feeling and stuff, or maybe something happened third party during the day and you just triggered them, or you just did something that just pushed them the wrong way. Just just because someone is depressed does not mean they're allowed to just like
Treat you however you want.
Right, like
Yeah.
be understanding of what's going on, but don't let that be understanding, but don't let them still walk over you, basically.
Exactly.
Right. Depression is not an excuse just to be mean. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mhm.
because you go through something does not mean you gotta be the scum of the earth or just treat
Yeah.
people like they're garbage or anything like that. Like, if you are depressed and you say something to a person that you do not mean, always try to apologize. Like, always try to say I didn't mean it or anything like that. I didn't mean to say it like that, or I didn't mean to hurt your feelings or anything like that, because then I think you may have that person getting their own depression or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
And then take a break from people for a little bit. Just take a little break to yourself to cool down.
Right.
If you like lash out at somebody because of how you're feeling, just take a little breather and then and then come back to it, you know, because sometimes there are triggers, or there are easy triggers, and you may not like mean to lash out at somebody, especially someone that you care about, you know, or who cares about you. Um, do you guys have any personal experiences that you want to discuss, basically on like how all of this worked for you, supporting a partner with depression?
You know, like, it was my past relationship, you know. She went through a lot of depression because she felt like she was different from everybody else. Like, she didn't have much of the stuff that everybody else had, and she felt like she wasn't smart or anything like that. And I learned from I learned from my past mistakes about trying to offer a solution to stuff like that. My mama got me right, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, what I did, I was always trying to give her motivation, saying I was proud of her, did small stuff like giving her cards, me maybe even cook for her too, you know what I'm saying, here or there. You know what I'm saying? I always try to tell her, give her motivations every day, send her gospel quotes, Bible verses, all that, you know. And like, it took some time for her, but then when she told me, maybe it was like, say 2-3 months after the depression, she was like, she's getting better and better because all the stuff I've been doing for her, letting her know that I'm actually in her corner, you know what I'm saying? Not asking for her, not trying to give her a solution or anything like that, or trying to fix the problem that she has, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, I don't give her, like, negative words like, oh, just think positive or something like that. Even though that may not sound negative, it can be negative to some people,
And it
you know?
sounds dismissive.
Right, very dismissive. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to do that, like, try to do some nice things to her, like, basically create an open space, open and unjudgmental space, you know what I'm saying? Not judging her what happens or anything like that or what she's thinking. Like, just doing that and listening to her and not judging no matter what, that had helped me with her and getting through depression. Also, it made me feel good too doing it because I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like, no matter what, I know that this is not of her, and if she's going through this, I'm gonna let her take some time to herself. I'm gonna let her do what she needs to do, and I'm gonna do as much as I can for her in order to help her get over the depression.
Yeah, and let her come to you
Basically,
when she's ready.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, pretty much reminders and encouragement. I think for me in the past, like, initially, I was at one point I was like, I can't even tell if you want to get better, and then they were like, I do want to get better, and then from there, it kind of like, it made me like realize like what I have to like do, like not do, but like what I can do to help. So definitely like reminding them like, here like are your options, you know, here's what you can do. Just like another small things like, you know, take your medicine or don't forget about your therapy appointment, stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay. I don't have any personal experiences, so that's okay. All right. As we wrap up today's conversation, it's crucial to highlight that while emotional support is vital, encouraging your partner to seek professional help is just as important. As Nye and Byron have stated before, depression is a medical condition, and therapy, counseling, or medication can be essential and towards healing. Here are some mental health resources that can make a difference. You have National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255, or now called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is available 24/7 for support. You have the Crisis Text Line at Text Home to 741-741 for free, 24/7 crisis counseling. You can also try therapists or counselors at websites like Psychology Today, which offer directories to find licensed professionals in your area. And finally, support groups. There are support groups both online and in person, like NAMI, which is N-A-M-A. N-I. I spelled it wrong again. NAMI. There you go. National Alliance on Mental Health, that provide connection and understanding. Encouraging your partner to reach out for professional help can be a crucial part of their healing process. As much as you want to support them, remember that a trained professional can offer tools and strategies they might not have access to otherwise. To sum up today's discussion, supporting a partner through depression requires love, patience, and understanding. It's important to be there for them emotionally, but also to take care of yourself along the way. Remember, seeking professional help for your partner and for yourself is a sign of strength, not weakness. Don't hesitate to reach out for support when needed. It's okay to ask for help. As we close today's episode, I encourage you to reflect on this. If you or your partner are facing challenges, remember that there's always hope and you don't have to go through it alone. Next week, we'll be exploring a new topic, finding balance in dependency and independence. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for listening today. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or experiences. Share them with us on social media. And be sure to follow us for future episodes at Love Unfiltered on Instagram. Until then, take care and remember, you are not alone.